Hi everyone. Today I'm joined by Anna, who blends over 2 decades of education experience with also working in entrepreneurship, specifically with startups and accelerators. And we met this summer where Anna was actually my teacher. She designed and led at Aalto University's summer program. So welcome, Anna. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Anna, maybe you can introduce a bit yourself in your own words.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for inviting, first of all. And it's genuinely been the favorite course I have ever run, and perhaps I will talk a little bit later about it. A bit about my history. Well, I started with education as I applied. At first, I studied in a pedagogical university. But to be completely honest, back then I did not think at all about becoming a teacher. It just happened so that this university was providing the language studies that I was interested in. And so I was in a way forced to study pedagogy that I was absolutely not interested in back then. But then it turned out, looking back, that it was perhaps the best decision because the pedagogical studies, the understanding how people learn, all the social studies, psychology, it actually helped quite a lot in everything else I did beside teaching as well.
Funny how
Um,
that turns out sometimes.
yeah, exactly. That's why, like never be discouraged with your decisions. But anyway, so after that university, during that, of course, I did some teaching practice, and after that was teaching also for a while. I happened to switch to business side. To be honest, I felt that teaching was not exactly a job or a career. To me, teaching is more of a lifestyle. Perhaps I was getting a little bit tired because if you teach, you basically think about it all the time, 24/7, of what can you improve, what can you give to your students, what other tasks you want to bring in. I wanted to have a little bit of a real job.
A
Switch to,
vocation and it can take a lot out of you, I suppose.
yeah.
By by real job, what do you mean? I'm curious.
Well, as I said, the teaching feels a bit more of a lifestyle. It's something that happens all the time, and then I wanted a job in which, yes, I would be in a team and perhaps also learn a bit with some management as well. And I was also interested very much in business. I applied again to business studies. From that time, from more or less 2012, I've been working with the entrepreneurs and startups. So in various accelerators, incubators, university units that teach entrepreneurship. That has been my experience. But then, of course, after a while, in the beginning, yes, I switched quite a lot into the business and supporting entrepreneurs. But then the teaching and pedagogy came back into my life, and they all got connected actually, and ended up teaching entrepreneurship and, among others, the course that you participated in. That's in
Yeah.
short.
So what I'm hearing is there was a moment in your life where you wanted to expand beyond that teaching lifestyle because it kind of took over your life, right? With an interest of yours. And you took a specific step, you went for the studies, and that opened up this specific opportunity. And later on, you connected them. So there was almost that when you shifted, you followed your curiosity, but you brought with you your experience. Do you think has been a caring themes patterns, perhaps, looking back?
I think that if I look back, like about my career, is that it feels that it's been proceeding quite naturally. There's indeed has been periods in which I'm working on one thing for a while, and then I feel like I would like to grow and move forwards, either switching from or bringing some additional tasks into my job, or doing some side projects, or then even changing jobs. That one of my favorite phrases is actually the harder you work, the luckier you get. So, some people, when I say that I'm quite lucky, and indeed luck plays some role as well, but I also believe that I've been also working towards making choices that I wanted to happen.
Mm.
And then I was looking and opening myself to opportunities and then taking some steps to make that change. And as I said, what I liked is that it just happened in a way naturally that every sort of new things that I was doing was in a way connected to the previous thing as well. it always felt not just, like one period stop and then something completely new starting, but everything is just going up.
Yes, that's very apparent when you look at your progression as well. So I'd like to kind of zoom in on that moment of when you said you became aware that you wanted to change, and then you open yourself up to possibilities and opportunities. A lot of people, including myself, sometimes get stuck in their own heads. Can you maybe give us an idea of how you personally have approached it in the past, where that process of opening yourself up to future possibilities?
I think, well, you know about the concept of a hero's journey, and I like it a lot. I feel like it's also it's going through anybody's life, really, really that type of pattern. But what I like about it is that there's this concept of call to adventure. And that's the moment in which we as people will feel that some change is coming. And it can be external or it can be internal. And pretty often, especially at a younger age, we perhaps start with the external call to adventure. Like, for example, I don't know, we finish school and then it's time. Maybe we're a little bit pressured by the parents, like, hey, you're old enough to move out, so maybe, get some studies, get a job. So or society is pressuring us to go and apply to university and get some jobs. So we do that. So that's a little bit of an external push. And the same maybe happened at some point in the beginning of my career, that there was this external push, as in the job would come to a point in which there was a bit of an external need for some changes, that maybe the tasks were not evolving. Some things were indicating that it's a time to try something new. But then
Yeah.
later, I think it developed a bit more into the internal, that I started feeling at some point like, hey, this is about time that I could try something a little bit different, something a little bit new. And then in that case, you start proactively then looking for. And again, I'm not a big risk taker, actually. It's not just that I feel like, okay, I need to get something new, so I drop the job and then I, jump
Yeah.
into the into the world of
Yeah, that's
it.
very important to point out. People think, oh, I have to be a risk taker to go into
Yeah, no.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I have to pay the rent, so I don't do that. I always felt like, trying something on the side is one option. So one is like within your own job, you can ask for new tasks. You can proactively search out quite often for some new tasks that you can do and
Mm,
try
mm,
them
mm.
out and then feel like, hey, is this something I'm really interested in? Do I want to be switching more, let's just say, full time into this? And then opportunities will come, or then it just allows you to test. Maybe you don't like that at all and you want to go back to your old tasks.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
almost
then,
like a testing mindset,
yeah,
even
yeah,
within your okay.
exactly, yeah. And then again, like, I think that, no matter which country you live in, I think there are various opportunities for easy entrepreneurship, doing a little side job, consultant projects, even something that is completely outside of your normal scope of what you're doing. And that also allows for a little bit of a testing without the risk, and then finding new networks, finding new opportunities, and then, it either satisfies completely your need for something new, or then you feel like you want to switch full time, and then you start seriously looking for a new job.
Absolutely. And I like that basically what you're describing is a series of small pivots. And then
Mm.
when you look back, you're connecting a series of bridges.
Yeah,
And then 14 years later, things look quite different, but you can see the overall arc
yeah,
of your trajectory. So there is a sense of luck, but also you have to consciously open up yourself by putting out these feelers almost. Wow, thank you for that. This is such a fascinating area for me. Do you feel like this is a core personality trait of entrepreneurs, that they are able to do this? Or can anyone, I mean, I'm asking a teacher of entrepreneurship, but do you think this can be taught? Like, you've taught so many people. Do you see a pattern with the people who manage to shift more naturally and those who maybe struggle with it?
I actually think nowadays that this is a by default state of any human being.
Hmm.
That we as people, we are the same, and we all have the same internal drive for change and growth. Now, there are many different reasons, who we were born to, what we were taught as kids, what school we went to, what culture, society we grow in. There's a lot of little bit external things that might be blocking the drive sometimes. And of course, there's also different characters. Again, some people are a little bit more risk prone than others, or are a bit better with stress than others. Mm, some might not like change as much. That's completely normal. But I believe that this by default somehow involving in life and growing is a state of any human being. If we're
Yeah.
talking about entrepreneurs again, that's people often think that entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship is about opening your business and coming up with a new iPhone, or just running around to talking to investors, hype, etc. But that's not exactly the way I see entrepreneurship. I think it's also a bit more of an internal mindset, and mindset can certainly be taught and changed. Just when you see the examples, when you understand how your brain works, when you understand how the society works, you can learn certain things, certain patterns that help you a little bit more to prepare for change, maybe to want it a bit more, to try different things. I think that's all can be taught for sure.
Taught and practiced, and from what I'm hearing, also nurtured through literally by it's like going to the gym, right?
Yeah,
Opening yourself
exactly.
up a little bit more every day. And it also maybe has to do with your tolerance of risk and
Mm.
your fear of risk. What happens if someone has both the external and the internal pushing them, right? They
Mhm.
know it's the right time, but there's still something that is blocking them. I'm just asking for a friend.
But that's a very good question indeed, because and I think at least what helped me also in life is just to study quite a lot of how the brain works. And the brain is quite simple in the end of the day. And one of the most basic things about the brain is that it hates change most of all. So if we feel like we want to change or we have to change, but then we still feel certain aversion, at least the number one thing I would do is that not to stress out additionally about it, not to think that there's something wrong with me. It's just how the brain works, it's just a normal thing. And once, at least it works for me, that once I understand that, I can start working around it. So it goes both um, on the logical level, perhaps just trying to talk to the brain and say like, hey, look, there is this many reasons of why we should make this change, and look at all these things of how we can avert some risks. And, what's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? You can logically work through all of that.
Mhm.
But then, of course, there is a lot of also maybe not so logical, but working with your emotions, working with your body, which are connected. That might sometimes be even easier than doing this logical work, but it actually helps to change the brain as well. As for example, the movement, it's, as I said, that the brain is just used to certain type of movements. The way you sit, the way you walk, the type of exercises you do are always the same. But if you start changing that, you start just doing different type of exercises, like take up some, I don't know, dancing or acrobatics that you've never done before.
And literally start rewiring your brain.
Exactly.
This is
So your
something we
brain, yes.
covered a lot,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is exactly, then the brain feels like, oh, this is something new. This is change. And like, okay, it's unpleasant in the beginning, but then it takes it. But the more you do that, the more brain gets used to change in general, and then it's going to be easier for it to change to a new direction within the mindset as well. I literally tested that on myself. It helps. I
I
took
was
some
actually,
courses.
yeah, I actually wanted to ask you, do you integrate these lessons in your personal career when you are going to transitions? For example, or even with your, because I've been through the accelerator incubator sphere here in Malta, and there, at least back when I was launching my startup, there's still obviously the MBA style approach. And when I was in Finland, it felt very innovative. This actual conversation about the psychology and the brain and the physicality of it. And subconsciously, we are all aware of it, like waking up at night, feeling stressed, maybe have an investor pitch. Do you see an awareness happening more and more in this sphere? So I've asked you two questions now, sorry. How you applied it in your life during moment of challenge, and if this is becoming more of a trend that people are aware of, education system is more aware of, or if this is more your personal mission now to make them, understand this.
Very, very good questions. And yes, I apply everything I teach. So basically also partly I choose what to teach based on what I have experienced myself in life, and I test that, and of course I talk to other people and see it really
That is such a
helps.
simple, what you just said just hit me. Like it's so simple what you said, but it's so powerful. You teach what you know works. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, no, thank you. But this is, yeah, so this is kind of something that I learned, especially that it doesn't happen much in academic universities or in general, just to go a little bit on the emotional and physical side or talking about the brain. We're just so used to just reading the books and listening to the lecture and just using our brain, just using all this so-called academic information, even though what we teach is also quite academic as well. But so that's why I just want to make sure that I have done it myself, and it really works. It really helps with the transition and really helps to reduce stress. I can say I feel completely different than some years ago before I started doing all those exercises. And then the second question, that yes, I feel that there is a rising awareness also about these issues. This, well, in Finland specifically, and other countries too, but in Finland also people start, when, for example, teaching pitch, maybe not only talking about what should be the slides about, but also start really integrating some acting, for example, or singing practices into how to prepare your voice, how to be on stage. I do that also. I integrate that a lot, like how to use your body on stage. When I teach about pitching, I think it's first of all about that, because it's easy to prepare the slides, it's easy to prepare the text, but that how you actually go onto the stage, how you talk, how you show yourself, that's difficult.
Connecting
And
with the audience.
yeah, exactly. And yes,
Hmm.
indeed, that is my mission also, to bring more and more of that into both university accelerators and everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell the passion came clearly through in the 10 days I spent in your classroom. And for obviously people who aren't there, what we're talking about are habit building exercises, being aware of yourself. We did movement exercises, we built routines, and also it was very multivariate, bringing in from different disciplines. So, we've done judo, we made music, we used cooking as a skill building and coordination kind
Mm.
of test. So everything Anna's talking about, I've seen firsthand, and this is why I was so excited to have her on today and to explain her philosophy and her journey. Um, what are you excited about now? What does the future hold?
Oof, career-wise, well, I have had for a while quite a personal mission in the career, but I also know that it's a very long-term goal, so I'm not running with it. And that is to change the education system in the world. A very, very tiny little goal, but but I think that's exactly with the course that you took, with quite a lot of other things I'm doing. I'm sort of going toward that. So again, testing, still learning myself and trying to promote this philosophy as you mentioned it. So I think that
Thank you.
that's kind of keeps me quite interested.
Yeah, that is a very exciting long-term mission as well, but it's also keeping you motivated.
Mm.
Um, I would like to thank you, and if there's anything else you'd like to cover, you can bring it up now. But yeah, thank you for your time, and
It's thank you,
I
and really I enjoyed you. You are asking such good questions, really, really amazing questions. This is, by the way, something that I was talking with some people that it's a little bit of a forgotten skill, how to ask questions.
how to ask
And
questions indeed.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's incredible. You start once you notice it, you can't stop not noticing it. That you know when you meet people and they don't ask questions. So I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
actually maybe they should be just a full, I don't know, a university degree just about how to ask questions. So in that sense that you can notice right away
Yeah.
when people can do that, and you are asking actually really, really amazing, good questions, really deep questions. I really enjoyed, I truly enjoyed this conversation.
While you were saying that, I just had this image in my mind of going back to classical Greece and
Yeah,
possibly before with the
yeah,
Platonic and the Plato and the Socrates mindset of asking questions is the basis of life and education,
yeah,
driven by curiosity.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.